So, Richard, Raves From The Grave, 25 years in March.
That's it.
It's got to be one of the oldest record stores going.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't know about that, but I know there's a place in Cardiff which is is known as being the oldest place, basically. But yeah, I mean, to be still going, I'm quite proud and amazed that we have managed to do that, I've got to admit, in a small town like Frome. So
Yeah, because you've had to, I guess, to keep a record store going that long, you have to be very reactive, don't you, to the ebb and flow of the music industry?
Yeah.
Because you've had, let's say, for instance, you've had the decline of vinyl, which probably started as you opened, right?
No, it started before, actually. Decline of vinyl was predominantly, I would say, sort of middle 80s through to sort of end of sort of early 90s, really. So when we opened, vinyl was still second-hand. I mean, new vinyl was unheard of. There was very, very few new represses in 97 when we opened. And we just did second hand for the first couple of years, to be honest. We didn't start doing new CDs or vinyl for the first couple of years. And then we were obviously getting asked for things that we couldn't get second hand. So that's when we started doing new stuff. But vinyl, second hand vinyl has always been pretty strong.
I got my first ever vinyl record from you.
What was it?
It was Judas Priest, Unleashed in the East.
Right.
Their live album. Classic, yeah. And I guess how much I paid for it. It was in your bargain bin out when you're in the cheap street store out front.
£3.
Lower?
Pound.
Lower.
50p.
50p.
50p, God.
50p. And I got it home and I was like, oh, because I felt like I had this rock and roll relic.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I was like, there's something about all those old bands, Priest, Sabbath, the Ozzy solo stuff, AC/DC, Thin Lizzy, Rainbow, Dio, all Deep Purple, all that ilk. I just feel like on vinyl, and I don't want to get like super pretentious because I'm a CD man.
Yep.
But on vinyl, there's something about that era where there's a magic to that stuff on vinyl, I think.
I would say so, definitely. Yeah, I mean, it's that sort of, metal stuff. I mean, if you get a few crackles on a metal album like that, it doesn't really matter too much. It probably adds to it, really. You don't want it too crystal clear like a CD, do you?
Yeah, you don't want it too digital. No. But I think that the drums it's definitely stuff like Sabbath, Heaven and Hell, the Dio era stuff when they've got... it's Vinny a piece, isn't it? On the drums. Yeah. There's a warmth in those drums. Someone said to me once that drums on vinyl, they mix in better because obviously I don't know, there's something about the analog thing. Apparently the drums in classic rock sit much better.
Yeah. I think certain bands will probably work better on vinyl than CD. I think most sort of 60s beat groups definitely sound better on vinyl, and that's that you want it to be a bit, tinny and sort of trebly, whatever. Whereas I always think if you listen to bands like, say, The Cure and something like that, a bit more moody, CD's probably better personally because you don't want any hiss or crackles or anything. You just want it,
You just want the atmosphere.
Yeah.
No, I can get behind that. So yeah, 50p I bought it and I got home and I realised, I was like, I don't really know.
It must have been scratched at that price, wouldn't it?
I've still got it. I'll have to have a look. But I got it home and I remember thinking, I don't know how I'm going to play this.
Because you didn't have a record player.
Right, and my dad had one of those old combo things from like the 90s or something, and it had a little deck on the top.
Yeah.
I remember looking at it and just thinking like,
what do I do?
I had to be taught how to use it. But there was something great about that because it was interactive.
Yeah.
It was an interactive thing. And since then I've amassed quite a good vinyl collection, but I stopped when vinyl came back.
Yeah.
Because for the price of a brand new vinyl, I can buy 2 CDs from you.
At least.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah.
And I just think that's when you've got as much like music, because I only really listen to old stuff. I'm always digging backwards.
Yeah.
I haven't got enough. There's not enough lifetime to get to it. Do you know what I mean? So I was just like, I need to get to it the most efficient way I can, which is just get it on CD. You can keep more of it, store more of it, buy more of it, and it. And I'm a bit like. I am the kind of guy that would fiddle with a record player one day when I'm bored, put something nice on it and just skate it across to the next play and be like, for fuck's sake. Can you remember what the first record you bought was?
Yes, I can actually. Well, the first single I bought was Lady Madonna when I was at the Beatles, obviously when I was 8. 1968 I bought that. And then the second single was Fox on the Run by Manfred Mann. But the first album I bought was Mott by Mott the Hoople. It's still in my collection, still one of my favourite albums of all time, and I'm a massive, massive Mott the Hoople fan.
I was going to say, you're still a Mott the Hoople fan.
Yeah, love them to bits.
I think I've seen you rocking a T-shirt or two in the store.
Yeah, I've seen them a few times as well. So.
Do you still own those?
Yeah, I've still got that. And the second album was Ziggy Stardust, Rise and Fall Bowie. I've still got that. I still... I used to put my name in a little sticker and put my initials RC on the label, so that if I took it to a party or something, I obviously looked after my vinyl, and but so that I wouldn't lose it, I'd remember it was mine basically, and I've still got those in my collection.
Get your hands off! That's my copy. Amazing. So when did because you must have like I do, like as you know, I've put I don't know how untold amounts of money in your till over the years, and I have to have to stop myself at the moment. But I will be back in the new year for that Green Day BBC session you got for me. Where does obviously. For me, I've got that huge collection, and there's some sort of attachment there. There's a thing where I love it, and there's a thing with it, right? Yeah. So when did you feel you must have that same thing because you've opened a record store and you've kept it going?
I do. The trouble with owning a record shop, being self-employed as well, is that I always see that as my collection, because obviously I own the business, so myself and my wife own the business, so what's in the shop is mine, obviously. So, but I have got a big collection at home, but I don't collect as much as I used to, because I haven't got the space in the house, and my wife would do a nut if I took any more vinyl or
do you ever just slip any in on? I mean, I don't want to get you in trouble.
No, I do. Yeah, I know, I do definitely. Certain things I sort of think, if there's anything left from record store day, I think, well, I definitely want that. There was a Doors album, Morrison Hotel last record store day. I thought I definitely want that, and there was one left at the end of the day, so I thought I'm having that. But I sold a lot of my best stuff when I first opened the shop, because I was very short on stock. I don't have that problem now, but I was very short on stock in the early days, and I put some of my own collection in, and a lot of that I'm trying to replace. A lot of it was punk stuff, which again is very, very hard to replace now. Right. I have got quite a lot of it back, but I've still got a big CD, vinyl, and DVD collection. I collect sort of retro DVDs as well, sort of unusual things, but yeah, I keep it in the shop. So unless it's something that I really think I must have at home, for example, if it was a couple of Mott the Hoople original albums that I didn't have, I would obviously take those. But generally, I just leave it in the shop and think, well, that's my collection. If I want to listen to it, I can. If I ever do want to take it home, I can. But
so what happens if you've got something that you keep coming back to, but it stays in the store, and then someone comes along and puts it on the till? You're like, no.
That doesn't happen very often, to be honest, because I say there isn't much that... I mean, I used to be fanatical collecting Beatles and Beatles-related stuff, so anything on the Apple label I used to collect, and I've still got a huge collection of bands like Badfinger and Jackie Lomax and Mary Hopkin, anything on the Apple label, as well as the Beatles solo albums. And I wouldn't sell those. And there was a couple of Badfinger original albums I still would like to get.
Right. How rare are they? How rare are we talking?
They're not. I mean, they're not that collectible. I mean, they're a lot of them only came out in the States basically, so the British presses are harder to get, but they're not ridiculously collectible, I've got to admit. But there wasn't many of them made, so they're still pretty hard to find. But apart from that, and maybe early punk singles, there's a few punk singles I'm still trying to replace that I sold really, really cheaply on a boot sale years and years ago, basically for like £1 each, and they're like now sort of 70, 80 quid. And but then I would never play them, so I don't really know why I want them, but just to look at it.
Well, I've got 2,000 CDs and a whole bedroom dedicated. I'm gonna have to, when it's finished, I want to bring you up and show you.
I'd like to see. I'd like to see your place.
You've
definitely
decked it out basically over the years, but it is like a little raves in there. Yeah. But I know full well when I walk in there, I could probably shed 1,000. Yeah, and I'd not miss it because I probably won't listen to it. But there's something about knowing you've got it in there. Yeah. I'm going to keep that Squeeze.
Well, a lot of it is where you remember you bought it, because you think, well, actually I bought that on such and such day, whatever. And I'm also a collector of music books, or statistical music books and biographies and stuff, and autobiographies. I've got loads and loads, bookcases full of the things. Right. And I really don't like to get rid of any. And we moved house 6 months ago, and we downsized, and again, my wife was sort of, saying, "Do you really need all these books?" And,
Yes, I do.
Yes, I do.
Yes, I do. Why? Shut up. I have a book you might want. You've probably got it. It's the Record Collector. It's from 2002. It's that big Bible.
Yeah. We don't use that very often nowadays, to be honest, because I don't know. We use, for a more up-to-date price range, Discogs is probably the best idea, basically. But we used to find a lot of the prices were very inflated there for certain genres of music. Like, for example, proggy stuff always seemed to be inflated, whereas reggae and punk seemed to be priced lower. So we it's good for a guide, but we don't see it as the Bible. After 25 years, we know generally what we can get for things, really, and we know what genres of music we want more than others. So it's
okay. Yeah, because I used to go through that book when I got vinyl, and even then it was a few years out of date. But it's just fun to look at.
It's fine. I mean, I've got a copy home. We still got a copy in the shop, basically. But we use more of experience now as opposed to what they say. Just because, say, a Uriah Heep album might be 80 quid, we know that we're not going to get that for Uriah Heep, basically. So we price our stuff according to what we think the customer will pay, really.
So what do you think the difference is between an eBay price and an in-store price? eBay is this kind of...
eBay, we don't like eBay at all, to be honest. I don't use eBay at all, to be honest. Trouble with eBay, people come in and say, well, it's that price, eBay is selling it for that price. Well, no, it's not selling at that price. That's the price it is on eBay. It hasn't said it's sold. PopSite's way better because PopSite tells you what it's sold for. So that's another site you can look at.
Discogs does that as well.
Discogs does that as well. Though Discogs, unfortunately, will tell you, it'll show you there's something for 50p on something, but then it'll say it's got no cover and no record. So you obviously have to do a bit of research with Discogs. You have to look at it and find an equivalent, description of something. But PopSite's way better because it tells you what something is sold for. So, I don't like eBay. There's too many, cowboys on eBay personally. So
I know. I fall victim to the eBay thing.
Yeah.
Whereas I'll look for something just on a whim, and it'll be like there'll be two listed for like £6.
Yeah.
And then there'll be a bunch at like $24.99.
Yeah.
30.
Yeah.
50.
Yeah.
And then I keep scrolling. If I keep seeing that thing at 30 or above, I go, oh shit, I better buy the £6 one now. Better have it now. I did that the other day with a live album thing.
The weird thing we always find with eBay is that they list the highest price first, and I always find that amusing that no one shops for the highest price first, do they? Have you ever been anywhere and thought, well, I'm going to look for the highest price first. I want to pay as much as possible for something.
Yeah, it must be because that would be possibly in order of condition.
Not always. Not always. No,
you can filter it out.
Yeah, you probably can.
You might have just left your filter on.
Yeah.
Rich.
Anyway, but we don't use it very often anyway. We say, the first maybe a few years of trading, but generally now, and this applies to CDs as well. You know what bands sell and which ones don't sell really, and which genres of music sell best. And
I love Discogs. I've looked at. I've scanned everything. I haven't scanned my vinyl in or my music DVDs.
Yeah,
but I've scanned every CD I have into my Discogs thing. Yeah, just ridiculous. I've got it's like 1,980 something.
You've obviously got more time on your hands than I have.
I used to, and so my collection, because they do the three, don't they? So they've got it groups together all the everything you've got for the lowest it ever sold for.
Yeah,
together, and then it's the median value, isn't it? Then it's the highest value. So that would be the stuff when it's sold on day one, sealed for full price or whatever. Yeah. So my collection is currently its lowest estimation is about, I think it's $7,000.
God.
And then the middle is 11 or something, and then my highest thing is 22,000. But I'll never get 22,000.
No.
And if I brought you into that room and I went, Rich, I'm selling it all, you'd go $3,000.
Yeah. I'd probably say less than that. I wouldn't want it at the moment. We've got too much stock.
I know. You got a gazebo out the back.
I know. We've got those sales because we're doing they got somebody who contacted us whose father unfortunately passed away, and he'd been storing his father's collection in a lockup, and we're taking it gradually because we can't take it all at once. So yes, we have a gazebo full of sales. Oh, there's loads more to come. Oh,
right.
What we've had so far is probably just about a fifth of what's available. Yeah,
Okay,
loads to come.
Because I've combed through that.
There's loads,
and it's a very, very good collection, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're talking like Cream deluxe editions.
Yeah.
We've got what else is in there? What did I buy? There's White Snake stuff, Beatles remasters. Loads of Yes box sets.
No.
Is that
Actually, no. This is a different one. No, this is another collection.
Oh, right.
You need to come again. We've got a load of punky stuff from.
I've had a look. Yeah, you got a lot of Overkills.
Yeah, but we've also got another. This is another collection from the one you've seen before. So
is that in there now?
It's too much. Yeah. What we've got so far, but we had to take everything. So we've been supplying the charity shops with stuff that we didn't want because every box we've gone through, there's a load of stuff we think, well, we definitely don't want 20 Harry Seeker CDs, so so we'll keep a couple and get rid of the rest. And,
you can keep some at mine.
Harry Seeker albums?
No, not them. If you want to keep the good stuff dry, I got
it's dry at the moment.
Spare room, man. I thought weirdly, I went to the charity shops the other day for it. And I don't go every week because you end up seeing the same stuff, don't you? So I leave it a little bit, and I went round the other day, and I thought I can't remember
which ones we went to, but we had loads of vinyls because we had to take everything, so we bought sort of so many boxes back, and then Tom and me have gone through it and thought, well, we definitely don't want that, we can't sell that, and then we just sort of obviously taken the stuff we don't want to the charity shop. So it's a very wide collection of all genres of music. Right. So. But yes,
so how long do you think it's going to take you until you've shifted that? Do you think that would be the last collection you buy?
No, definitely won't. I mean, today somebody bought a load of Queen stuff in, which again, that's one band that we can sell well on vinyl, definitely. So there's some quite nice stuff in that as well. But no, we never turn away. I mean, there's certain genres of music we don't want any more of now, and the main one is easy listening on vinyl, definitely. So I think we're one of the few shops in the country that stock things like Jack Jones and James Last on vinyl. But as you can appreciate, the market is very, very small for things like that. But because I think as I said, we're one of the few shops that do stock it. We do occasionally sell Boney M LPs and Carpenter's LPs and Neil Diamond and things like that.
So, but it's not just music. Like your shop it's very important. One, because it's an independent.
Yeah.
But also because there's a whole section of the town that come to you for things that you wouldn't expect to get from a record store.
No.
So you got people that come in and say to you, like, have you got this Doctor Who thing?
Yeah.
Have you got this, other little collectible? I mean, it's got to be film or music generally, hasn't it? But you end up ordering in, like when I'm in there, if you spend the amount of time in your place that I do, obviously you do, you get to realise kind of like what's coming in, who's ordering what the kind of weird curiosity pieces are. And you get some really strange horror films in and things like that, B movies for people.
Yeah, I mean, a normal day for us is to, get asked for Daniel O'Donnell cassettes, and then the next customer wants Quicksilver Messenger Band vinyl, and it's just, there is no logic to everything. We'll do our best to obtain everything, but, it's quite hard. It's hard to get a lot of this stuff, basically. But it's
Do you think you're a workaholic?
Yeah.
I don't know how many stores you've had. The Bath store.
We had 3 shops in Bath, so I mean that was in the space of about a year and a bit, we moved 3 times in Bath. Not because we wanted to, but the lease. It was a very temporary lease. When the first shop, for example, we were sharing the shop with someone else, and then that ended, and then we had to move somewhere else, and then that ended, and then we moved somewhere else, and then it never really worked in Bath, to be honest. We didn't take much money, but also the logistics of trying to take the stock and park outside the shop and take all the new releases and didn't work. And then the Warminster shop, that was 12 years. Again, that never really worked. I mean, we spent a lot of time and energy and money on trying to make it a great shop, and it was a great shop.
It was great.
And it's quite sad that it's very sad, to be honest, that it's gone now, because it took us a long time to build it up. Particularly my wife spent a lot of time putting a lot of energy into that shop, really. But it's just sad. We just didn't get enough customers through the door. So it's and at the end of the day, you can only have a loss-making business for so long, and then you think, well, we've done everything we can potentially do to make customers go there, and if they don't want to go there, then we've
got to kill your darlings, haven't you?
Exactly. So when we moved into the bigger shop in King Street, where we are now, that was the plan. Was always, now we've got a bigger shop, we can get it all into one building, and we don't need two shops.
And I think that place that you're in now, King Street, that's the one, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, we definitely. I mean, I'm
so right
61 now, and we're definitely not moving again. There's no way. I mean, the last move was, I mean, it went really, really smoothly. It only took us 2 weeks to move all the stock over, which was incredible.
But for the listener, you're travelling about 50 metres from one store to the other, and it took 2 weeks.
No, but that's putting all the shelves up as well, and kitting, and every single CD and record I put actually on the shelves. So, but yes, we wouldn't want to move again, and there would be no need to move again. We always could do with more space, but there's no, we've still got far too much stock for any town, let alone a town the size of Frome. So we do not need any more space, definitely.
And like I said with the workaholic thing, you must be a driven and ambitious man, because, like you said, so many stores over the years and moves and different, attempts at, expanding and whatnot. But the thing is, you've stuck around through all of the different changes in the music industry and even the 2008 industry crash, which I guess probably, I don't know, how did that affect the retail side of stuff?
It's weird because, I mean, a lot of people probably don't know as well. I also had we had a video shop that I think we're probably the only video shop in the country, the Video Crypt, which was in number 2 Cheap Street now. Basically, we had 3 floors there. So, and we used to do very, very well with videos, obviously. And I had a stationers as well, Sam Office Supplies, which again,
I didn't know you had that.
Yeah, that was mine as well. And I had a card shop, Card Tomb, which I bought from someone else, and it was a card shop in Cheap Street. So at one stage, I had like 4 shops down the same street.
Cheap Street,
and yeah, for one reason or another, I won't bore you with things. I mean, the card shop didn't take any money. The stationers, was a divorce settlement to my second wife, basically. So I've just got the music thing now, basically. But yeah, I would say I love retailing. It's all I've ever done since I left school. So
I remember that video store.
Yep, you do.
I used to be a real pain in the ass in that video store.
I don't remember you from there, but
because you'd go through the door.
Yeah.
On your left, there would be sort of waist height boxes of vinyl.
Yep.
That would build over into there. Yeah. And then you had the desk.
Yep.
And the back room, I guess. And then you had the stairs going up, didn't you, on the right? But
before that, stairs,
and you had to leave your backpack down there.
Yeah, we used to have a cellar where there was actually a shower in the set. We had a cellar which was that, because I think it was someone's house originally.
Right.
It was the old jewellers, Vincent's Jewellers, I think, which was years ago. We're talking now sort of 22 years ago. And downstairs in the cellar, which we turned into another storage place where people could go down to, there was actually a shower down there as well. Must have been the only record shop in the country with a shower. You wouldn't have wanted to have a shower, and it was a pretty grotty shower.
I remember before the steps, if you took a right, you had a little cubby hole.
Yes.
And that was where the WWE, WWF, WCW... all the wrestling VHS tapes were in there.
Yeah, we still keep wrestling DVDs. Actually, we sell them occasionally, basically. So, but yes, we had all the wrestling.
And I used to go in, and because Andrew used to work in there, who worked for you for years and years.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
And I think I was the biggest pain in the ass to him, because every time I'd go in, I'd go, "Have you got any Misfits on vinyl?" Every week.
I do remember you now from there. Some things haven't changed.
Right. No, definitely not. And I got to the point where I'd walk in the door and he'd go, "No Misfits vinyl this week." I got one from there, though. I did get one from there. But I remember I'd go in there and I'd be so obsessed with the wrestling and my ADHD would just be like, and I'd get all the videos out on the floor and I'd be just a pain in the ass, the nightmare customer. Just be and I'd look at the run times and I'd be if I've only got this amount of pocket money, I've got to bang for your buck, right?
Yeah.
I've got to get the longest running time tape.
Yeah.
Or I'd look at the match list. And I'd be it'd have to be an amalgamation of what's the longest with the best card on it, right? Madness.
You could have been a wrestler, actually, couldn't you?
I could have, and if I'd known, we did a podcast with a wrestler the other day.
Yeah.
Shout out Kean the Fox, Kelly. I was bigger than him.
Yeah. They're still young enough.
Right? Well, I might do. But I said to him, if I'd known I was going to be 6'9" when I was a kid, when I was wrestling obsessed.
There's money in it.
I'd have just started hitting the gym and found a trainer. I would have just done it. No question about it. I'd have been in there. I'd have been all over it. And I kind of was hoping, because we were wandering around that day while they were setting up down there. All the wrestlers were hanging out by the ring and like practicing their slams and looking mean and stuff. And I was walking around, I was thinking, someone's gonna ask me, which one am I? Do you know what I mean? And like maybe someone would take me aside and go, do you want us to train you? I just, all these little things, I was like, this is bound to happen. But the funny thing is that we were walking out, because we were recording upstairs in the Cheese and Grain. So I had to walk out through the foyer of the Grain Bar, and all the fans were hanging out in there. Yeah. And Harry was already up there getting ready, and I was just fetching some bits and taking them up. And I walked out the door and I heard someone go, "Oh yeah, a wrestler," and I was like, "Yeah."
I thought you were going to say somebody wanted your autograph, but
I don't know what I'd have done. I would have signed it. I would have just made something up. But yeah, so yeah, I've long history with your stores. Yep. But what made you want to start doing this? What was the thing where you were like, you know what, this is what I'm going to do?
Well, I've said I've always, when I left school, I mean, I dismally, or my GCSE results were dismal generally, so I went into retail and as a sort of a stopgap measure, and decided I really liked it. So I worked for WH Smith for 20 years, and I started.
What do you mean 20 years?
Yeah, 1977 I started at WH Smith when I left school.
So how old were you when you started Raves?
I was, it was 25 years ago, and I'm 61 now. So what's that, 44, isn't it?
Wow. Yeah. I don't know, when I think about it, I just get this vision of you opening it as like a super young, like...
No, I wasn't.
Hungry chap. Right.
I was hungry, but I wasn't super... Well, 44 was quite
young.
It's
not like old, but like, I just thought, I don't know why.
No. So I did Smiths for 20 years, and again, sort of went around the country managing different shops of Smiths. And again, I was manager of Notting Hill Gate branch, and decided that I fancied running my own business, and now was the time to do it. I was in the middle of a relationship change, and I had some friends down in Somerset, so I thought I'll come to Frome, open a shop, buy a house down there, and so 97, that's what I did really. So I chucked my well-paid job in, came down, and on the first day in Cheap Street, I took £13 on my first day, and that's when I was wondering how I made the right decision.
Amazing. Do you have any, like, are you going to retire soon at some point?
I'm not.
We've kind of talked about it in private in the shop, haven't we? I don't know how much you want to talk about it.
I can talk about it. Yeah, I'm not. It's being self-employed is very, very hard. I can't imagine ever retiring, because I still enjoy the job. I have days when I really want to hit someone, basically, as probably most people do at any job, really. And
I know those days when I walk in, I see it on your face.
Yeah, because we do get a lot of eccentric customers.
No, we're not naming anyone.
No,
one of them springs to mind.
Yes, and you do, when they've been in the shop 2 or 3 times in the same day, you actually you do find your patience sort of wearing a bit. But I still love doing it. Next year I'm going down to 4 days from 5 days a week. And that was something I planned. One of the reasons we were getting rid of Warminster, because myself and my wife, there's things we want to do that we haven't had time to do. Things like we got a motorhome, for example, so we want to go way more in that. I'm a football fan, so I want to go to more football matches. I'm a cricket fan, so I want to go to some cricket matches. So, and it's just annoying at the moment. I just work all the time. So, yeah, as you know, I'm playing a couple of bands as well. I've been doing a bit of acting recently, so I've got quite a lot of other things going on. So I'm not retiring, but yeah, next year I'm going down to 4 days a week. Polymath, yeah. But
You're good at lots of things.
Yeah.
Tell me about your bands. And I want to know about you, because initially when I asked you to come on here, you said, "Oh, I can't. I'm pantomime auditions." I thought, Richard in the pantomime.
Yeah, well.
So tell me about your music, and then
I'll tell you about the pantomime. Music. I've been doing music bands since I was 21. So 40 years, and with loads of school friends when I was 20. Actually, it might have been earlier than that, about 19. We used to go and see a lot of music, and we thought we can do this. This was, sort of post-punk days, and so we did do it, basically, and we formed a sort of a really bad blues band. but writing our own material, and we did loads of gigs, and then I've been in loads over the years when I moved about the country with Smiths. I've been in a country and western band, a jazz band, a prog band. I've done most genres of music, but at the moment I'm in we're 2 and a bit bands basically. Sweet Machine, we've been going for nearly 25, maybe longer than that, 30 years, and we're electronic-y, electronic-y pop band, similar. Well, we used to be more similar to bands like probably Depeche Mode and stuff, but we think we're a bit more now like a sort of Human League meets the Pet Shop Boys, really. So, but we write all our own stuff. I write the music, and Tim, the singer, writes the words. And we've done loads of gigs. We obviously haven't done many gigs recently because of COVID, but we played a month ago at the Bennett Centre in Frome. So yeah, we still enjoy doing that as well. The rest of the band, apart from Tim, lives in Somerset, but the other two one lives in Brighton, one lives in London. So it's more of a social thing. So
right. I was going to ask you, how do you keep a band going for
30 odd years? We've done like 2 albums, and we used to play every sort of couple of months. We're playing in Brighton 2 gigs in January because, as I say, the bass player lives in Brighton, really, and we're doing the Frome Festival if it actually happens again next year. We were supposed to do it the last 2 years, but obviously with it being cancelled. We're playing in France, Château-Gontier, with the Twin Towning thing. And again, that should have been the last 2 years, but that was obviously aborted because of COVID. But hopefully that will finally go ahead next August bank holiday. So we're doing that.
Is that through Patrick Moss?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
That's a good guy.
The other band which we just put back together again was an ABBA tribute band called SOS, which again we're headlining at the Cheese and Grain on New Year's Eve, and that was supposed to be last year, but again that obviously was cancelled because of COVID. So, but again, I'm not a massive ABBA fan, but again, being a keyboard player, it's challenging, to put it mildly, really, and I enjoy doing it. I love the people in the band, so we're actually doing that again.
Which one are you in the?
I'm Benny, obviously the keyboard player. So
right, I don't know ABBA, right? I know that.
Bjorn is the guitarist, Benny is the keyboard player, but I do backing vocals and stuff. So there's 6 of us in that. And then I also was in a band, Los Grebos, which again finished because 3 members decided it was during COVID. It was frustrating because we were getting quite a lot of work, and then COVID meant we had to sort of cancel a lot of gigs, and 3 of the members are doing other things now. So, and again, I'm still keen on maybe sort of getting the band going again, but it's very hard when you're like, the only original member. So, so that one might not happen, but we'll watch this space. And so yeah, that's my musical activities and acting. I've never really been into acting, but I got
what made you go, I'm going to do that?
Well, 2 reasons. One, they were putting on Dad's Army at the Merlin, and I'm a big, as I said, big retro-y British film buff thing anyway, and I love Dad's Army, and Anne Dimmery, who was the director, who is a singer in the ABBA band, so I've known her for years as well. And I just thought I'll have a go at that. So I was Hodges and Private Sponge and Private Hancock in that. So and again, really enjoyed it. Took up a lot of my time, huge amount of time in fact, but again, enjoyed doing that. And because of that, I've been enrolled in the Road Village Pantomime, which is happening next March as well.
I keep waiting, right? I keep waiting every year for someone to come to me and go, Andy, we're doing Jack and the Beanstalk. We need the giant. Will you? I'll be, yes!
Well, I'll keep you in mind if ever.
I'm putting that on the record right now.
Yeah, you'd be good at acting, actually. I mean, again, it's funny because I never thought it was not something that my mum and dad used to do amateur dramatics, so maybe it's sort of in my blood, but I've left it late to start. But I enjoyed the whole putting together of a play. It's actually quite exciting.
Seeing it come together.
Yeah. It's different. It's something new to me, and as I said, it takes a lot of time. Obviously, the rehearsing and the dress rehearsals, and you can't just come to the performances where you're speaking. You need to know the whole of the play as well. So it's
so everyone's lines.
Yeah, it's virtually. So and it's good on your memory.
Right. Well, your memory's probably quite good.
It's not as good as it used to be.
But you've probably that recall for what because like you said, all your I can go in. I try not to be that lazy bastard who goes in and just goes, "Hi, have you got?" You know what I mean? I try and find it first, but I often just find myself stood upstairs, right? Just doing this at the rack for like 10 minutes. Just like, I don't want to ask him because he's really busy, but I can't fucking find it. And I come down and you come up and you go, it's there. And then you're gone again. And I'm like, oh, thanks. I don't buy it anyway. But But yeah, your memory must be incredible, really, because anything I ask you, just.
I think like anybody in their early 60s, memory is good for certain things and bad for others. I can't remember what I had for tea last night, but yes, I can remember exactly where quintessence are filed away and things like that. So, and what someone's third album is. Useless information.
How good was, because I've only seen the shots of the Dad's Army stuff, but it looked like you guys went to town on it.
Yeah.
How good was Alan Overton in it?
He's very good. I mean, he's done 2 or 3 before. And the actual play was part of something called Project Play, and they go around the southwest of the country. So the Dad's Army was put on in places like Wimborne, Chippenham, Yeovil, Weymouth, and but not by the same cast. So you had a different cast in each town, and so we were the last one to do it. So, for example, Wimborne would have had all the stage props and then the whole thing goes by lorry. So, and we did 4 episodes from Dad's Army, basically. So 4 separate episodes, and yeah, I mean, Alan's really good. I mean, he was perfect for Godfrey. I mean, he could be Godfrey, basically. So, in another life, I've told him that as well. And he was in, I think, a couple of years ago, they did a Hello, and before that,
that's right. Yeah.
What was the other one? Not Lost of the Summer Wine. Vicar of Dibley.
Right. He did didn't he do the like no, yes, no, yes, no guy?
What, in Dad's Army?
No, Vicar Dibley,
yeah.
Was that his?
Well, actually, I don't know, actually, because I didn't go and see it.
I've never seen him on stage, but I know him. And whenever I see him in character for these productions...
he's very good. To be honest, everyone in it was fantastic. And the nice thing with it was there was people like me who were a first-timer who'd never done anything before. There was quite a few people who'd never done it before. And then there was people who do them regularly, basically. So I learned a lot from... some people are way more experienced than me, and I think I surprised myself. I mean, I didn't mess any of my lines up. Because I know Dad's Army, I felt I was fairly in character as Hodges, and it was good, but it was really nice. Everyone was very, very authentic. Every character, and a really nice bunch of people. So that was another really nice reason for doing it. So,
and you said something interesting there when you said that you surprised yourself.
Yes.
Are you always looking are you still looking to sort of surprise yourself or grow and develop or because I know that you did one of these crazy Jurassic Walk.
I've done 2 actually.
With my man, David Feast.
Exactly. I did.
Shout out David Feast. Yeah. I love you, David. Yeah. I love that man.
I'll tell him tomorrow night in person because we got a Christmas works do, which was again aborted from last year because of COVID. So
right. Well, you say hello from me. I love Dave. And he was telling me about how your boundless energy, even on that.
I mean, again, I wanted to do that. My dad had, he unfortunately died a year or so ago from dementia, basically, and I decided I wanted to do a walk to raise money for Alzheimer's. And yes, I like walking, but not 70 miles continuously. And I hadn't done that before, and I didn't know whether I could do it, obviously, because I know it's not something you can sort of plan for. You can do a bit of training for it, but you can't just go on a 70-mile continuous walk that often. And yes, it was up the Jurassic Coast, and so the hills were rather steep. And it was, we started at sort of 7:30 in the morning on the Saturday, and you walk right through the night. You obviously stop for food and stuff, had food breaks, and I did it with Dave, and finished it, and was, I was aching at the end of it, as you can imagine, and then we did another one the year after, the Isle of Wight, so we did the whole of the perimeter of the Isle of Wight, and again, that was a continuous walk as well to raise money. I did for the same thing, so I raised about £1,000 on each one, so, Dave, I think he's doing another one next year, and I'm quite keen on doing one, I got to admit, because I think I could still do it, but it's one of those things when you start off, it's really great fun. But when you get to the middle of the night and it's cold and you're walking, you can't see anything in front of you. That's when you think, do I really want to carry on with this? But the other nice thing is it's the camaraderie. You've got 2,500 people doing the same thing, right? And if you stop, they're there to G you up, and you do the same to other people. So I think you feel like you're part of a team, and obviously it's great to do something to raise some money. So.
What are you eating on those food breaks? Because
you get lots of, all the food's provided. You have to, again, they're done by a company called Ultra Challenge. So you have to guarantee raising a certain amount of sponsor money, and then for that you don't pay anything to enter, but you actually get all the food and everything that you want. So you obviously lots of bananas. I think I had about 21 bananas on that on the 2 days. Lots of chocolate bars, but then you have cooked meals as well.
Right.
You know, there's 4 major stop breaks where you'll have a proper hot meal.
Because they must tailor it calorie wise, right?
Yeah,
There must be a science.
No, there's loads. I mean, there's loads of bits of pineapple, oranges, and stuff like that, as well as mugs of tea, and so all the goodness and stuff like that. But so it's. But yeah, I enjoy doing. I probably would like to do one again. So what's always stopped me again is just the time aspect. Is it's the time to train for it and the fact you're away for a weekend from the shop. But hence the reason I want to go down to 4 days so I can actually do a few more things like that as well. So.
And you got your man Tom.
Yep.
A trusty
yes, he is,
man.
Yeah, and he's a lot younger than me, so he can. I pay him good money so he can do the work that I'm not going to be doing.
The amount of times I've messaged him at like 1 a.m, and be like, "Hey, have you got this?" And I'd be like, "Oh no, it's 1 a.m. Leave the man alone."
He probably still replies.
Yeah, he does sometimes. Yeah. I'm trying to leave that alone now. It's just, but yeah, I like to. I love Tom. So tell me about rare records. I guess this is a thing that you're going to get asked a lot, being the owner of a record store. Thousands, maybe millions of records have passed through your hands at this point. How often do you see something these days after 20? How many years? 25?
25, yeah.
In the game? How often do you see something when you're like, Jesus Christ, I never thought I'd see one of these? Is it not? Have you seen it all at this point?
No, I definitely haven't seen it all. I mean, it's not that often. Obviously, you see a lot more run-of-the-mill stuff. And to every decent collection that comes through the doors, we probably get offered about 150 bad ones, basically, which most of them we don't take. Sometimes people will come in with a box of stuff, and you might pull 3 or 4 records out and pay them 20 quid for that, and we don't want the rest, just take them away somewhere. Yeah. But you still see things. I mean, we got a collection a while back, and there was the Motorhead's first album in it, with the silver embossed sort of sleeve, which again is pretty rare. So that was, again, I didn't think it was as rare when we bought the collection as it is, basically. So it's still exciting, but getting a box of records or even CDs. I mean, CDs can be as collectible as records, actually. It's amazing. Yeah.
Grateful Dead, Europe 72 box set.
Yeah.
If you ever get that in, right? If you ever see one, I'll tell you, it's worth about $2,000.
Is it?
And
I won't tell you because you won't better afford it.
No,
you'll just put it by for about 4 years.
Yeah, so stick that in the back. I'll come back and get around to that. It's like a suitcase. It's like an old style travel suitcase.
Yeah.
And when and it's wooden and everything. And when you open it up, it's got all the slots in it. And each CD is one night of the tour. It's the whole tour.
Actually, they've done that with that. I've had other bands. Pearl Jam did something like that as well, where every CD was one night of the tour. I've had that before in a collection. So, but yeah, that is really anal and completist. And
I love that stuff. I've got a Grateful Dead every show from July 1978 box set. Well, listen to it. Maybe listen to it. But I'll get round to it. What would you like to do with the store now? Like you've got because I know for your anniversary you're planning something. Do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I can do. Yeah, I mean,
you weren't sure who.
Well, the anniversary is next 13th of March next year, and that will be 25 years of trading. As I don't know how many people will know, we did something for the 20th anniversary at the not the memorial, the hexagon behind there, and that was really, really good. We had invited 150 of our regular customers to it, and we had Tom Robinson headline there. And we had lots of local bands playing as well, and Compare, John Harris did the Compare for it, and it was a really, really fantastic day. A lot of record companies gave freebies away and things like that, and it was just a really, really nice evening. And we obviously want to go one better, but it's we want it again aimed at our regular customers, because that's what it's for, to reward them for supporting us over the 25 years. But it's just getting a headliner for it, really. Right. So, because we sort of think, we've obviously, people will expect us to go, at least the same as Tom Robinson, or maybe one better. And it's actually finding someone who wants to come to Frome to actually play for free at our 25th anniversary bash. So that's what I wouldn't say it's a stumbling block, but it's something that we're working on, basically. We will do something definitely for the 25th, and if we can't get anybody ridiculously well known, then we'll still do it basically because it'll still be a nice evening. So.
We've had all kinds of people do in-stores for you. And Billy Bragg.
Yep.
I met Billy Bragg when he came. That was really great. We packed out Cheap Street.
Yeah, 650 people in Cheap Street. I wasn't there, ironically, typical because it was a record store day and I was actually working in I think I was in the Warminster shop, or you could have been in the Bath shop that day, so I actually missed it.
Right.
But obviously, yes, I've seen the video of it and everything, and that was phenomenally good, and people still talk about that to this day, really. So
yeah, it was great. And I was at that 20th anniversary.
Yep.
Just over the road there, wasn't it?
Yes.
I've got to say, Tom Robinson did a great set.
He did, fantastic. Well, the reason we got him was he was playing at the Cheese and Grain, which we went to the gig, and my wife's a big Tom Robinson fan, and he played outside our shop before, I think during the day, basically, which was great before the gig. And we just actually asked him, we said, I think, we just said, well, it's our 20th anniversary coming up. Can you do it? And he came with another guitarist and, did a half-hour slot. Whatever.
I met him that day.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember this. I walked in when I was doing radio at the time.
Yeah.
I walked in with this sheet of paper that I'd printed out. It had like a cover letter sort of thing, like a bio on it, and a press release and all kinds of stuff. I printed out pictures of me on the radio, lovely Chris Bailey shots.
Yeah.
I spent money on that, getting those printed out. And then I went and bought a memory stick and I put some shows on the memory stick. I spoke to Huey Morgan, who was on BBC Six, and I was like, hey, I'm Tom Robinson's in town. Do you think I should speak to him about, maybe if he likes my show and maybe he'd help me out in Radio World? He was like, yeah, he's a good guy. You should go and speak to him. Tell him I said hello. Yeah. I was like, cool. So I went down. Still, I will say, I saw him that evening in Cheese and Grain, great set, and I saw him at your bash, great set. I'm not going to knock him, great musician. When I met him in your old store, I said, hey man, just wondering if you could help me. I've got this here, and do radio, and I'd really love it if you just could listen to it and let me know what you think. And he went, why would I help you? You're my competition.
Is that what he said?
He mugged me right off. Right, and I just went, because I spoke to Huey, who works with him, and he was like, yeah, that's great. Yeah, he's a cool guy. Go and speak to him.
Yeah.
And he just flat out just shot me down. God. And then decided to be very patronising, giving me all this advice. It was very patronising. Yeah. And then it's just rude.
God.
What a knob. What a knob. But then I can't deny, good musician that night, good musician. Yeah. But I couldn't believe it. And then I walked in to yours a week or so later, and you went, I've got something for you here. Yeah. I think you left it here, and you gave me back the pack that I gave him.
Oh, yes.
What an arsehole. So he's not in my best books, Tom Robinson, to be honest. But I guess it's right now. I mean, he's an older guy at the BBC, and they want you to stay relevant. And I guess to a degree, he's fighting for his.
I wouldn't have thought you were competition, as you say.
I would have been if they put me in the BBC. But no, not really, not in that moment.
No.
I thought that was very poor of him. Very poor of him. Yeah. But okay. So if anyone's listening to this and they want and they're uber famous, more famous than Tom Robinson, then get in touch and come and play the.
We have got a few. I mean, most of you probably were. We've had Robert Plant in the shop 3 times.
Yes, so I would like
again, that would be good. But again, he would need, because he doesn't really play guitar, so he'd have to actually have not a band with him, but he'd have to have some other musicians with him. And but that would be fantastic. But I mean, I've got some of my favourites I'd like to be there, like Ian Hunter from Mott the Hooper. That would be the best day of my life if I could. It would. But it's just how do you contact these people? That's the hardest thing, So it's.
Is he the kind of guy that now lives in LA somewhere?
He does. He lives in the States. But again, he's the type of person that would do it. I'd imagine. Right. Because when you get to that thing, and someone like McCartney was the type of thing. If he took his fancy, Yeah,
because you've got so much money at that point. You just do stuff for the love of it.
For the love of it, yeah. But it's how you actually. It's just how you contact them. Really, that's the hardest thing. You got to email someone. You can't just ring them up, can you? So you've got to actually hope that someone in the know will know.
Right. It's how. Yeah, that is the biggest thing. Is access to these people, and they pay people a lot of money to restrict that or field a lot of that stuff because they're so famous, so they've got so much money that they're always being pestered.
I mean, it was years ago when we first started. It was a lot easier because the record companies, we had actually points of contact at all the record companies. So even the larger companies, we would have a rep and we would say, well, we're doing such and such. For example, when Universal Music put someone on called Stevie Parker.
I know Stevie.
Well, she did 2 albums and she came and played 3 or 4. You were obviously there that evening, and I mean, she didn't make it. Her albums didn't sell very well, but anyway, she came and and that was via Universal. So, but nowadays, to be honest, the companies are so big, there's no port of contact for anyone. I mean, even getting like a signing session and stuff, we normally get those from an artist might be playing at the Cheese and Grain, and then they'll come and do a signing session in the shop, that type of thing ready. But it's not as easy just contacting a record company now and saying, can you, have you got any artists that can come and play at our bash, really? So that's the trickiest thing. The companies are too big. Don't really want to know, really. So it's,
that's a shame with that Stevie Parker stuff. I mean, I'm fully expecting, I've got every faith that, something is around the corner for it. Yeah. But that debut album, I'm not sure I've heard her second album, but her debut album is very good.
No, it is good. I mean, she was great. Good. It was nice to have, and she could have gone on to be Laura Marling or something like that, and then it would have been great to say, we had Stevie Parker play, but it hasn't happened, or hasn't happened for her yet. So.
Yet. I believe in her. She's very good.
Yeah.
What was it? When you were telling me about this thing the other day with Universal?
Yeah.
With the vinyl price thing.
Yeah.
Is that true? What you
Warner's are the biggest thing, but again, it's, to be honest, it's all the major suppliers, Sony, Universal, and Warner. It's predominantly Warner, actually. I mean, the prices they were going to go up on the 1st of November, so we sort of stockpiled on certain things that we thought were going to go out of stock, and so that we could still do them at the same price, because a lot of the prices were going up to obscene prices, like back catalogue Doors albums and Bowie's were going from
to buy into
shop, they were like doubling the dealer price. So
on vinyl,
to make any money at all, we'd have had to put the prices up by about 60-70%, which is obscene. So we got ready, but ironically, then they didn't actually go through with the price increases, but they are doing it apparently from the 1st of January, I think it is now.
So that really seems counterintuitive.
Well, it's almost like I don't know what the reason is. I mean, it's almost like they're trying to kill the industry, because I can't, there's no shop could justify charging those prices if they go ahead with those prices.
So what are you going to have to charge for a brand? Let's say
some things like the Ramones back catalogue, where you were, I don't know, we might have been paying about £12 dealer price for something we would sell at 20. So obviously once you add your VAT, you're still not making a huge amount, but. But the dealer price for something like the Ramones were going up to £24. So
then you have to make a profit on top of that.
So you've really got to be selling at sort of £35, and people won't pay that for the Ramones' first album as a repress, unfortunately. So we just wouldn't stock it, throughout. We just wouldn't be able to. So we'd obviously then concentrate more on trying to get good second-hand stuff, but. It's whether it's going to happen across the board. But the biggest issue at the moment is the availability of new repressed vinyl, because of the demand. I mean, it's a lot of reasons. One is the demand. I think Brexit is having something to do with it, because most of it comes from the continent. Most of it's pressed in the Czech Republic and France, because there is no big pressing plants in this country at the moment. So because EMI decided that no one was needed vinyl anymore, so all the pressing plants in the country basically were either sold to Poland and places like that. So it all comes from abroad, and also I think it's the bare materials, whatever. But generally, if you look at our things that we're out of stock of at the moment, although you wouldn't know it, looking at how much stock we've got on the shelves, but actually, if you actually go look at our stock lines, there's like 7 Smiths albums we're out of stock of, 3 or 4 Bowie albums, virtually loads of Cure albums. Certain artists, there's just nothing available at the moment, and it's not just us. If you look on Amazon, haven't got it either. No, HMV haven't got it. So, and you don't know when it's going to come back in stock again. So there's a big issue with that at the moment. Right, and that's going to be exacerbated with obviously if the price increases as well. So I don't really know the answer, really. I've never known it. I've never known the availability be so bad for so many products in the 25 years that we've traded.
Right. There was a thing about the new Adele album, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Some controversy that because she is one of the biggest sellers for the CD format still, that the production or the manufacture of her albums, because she was putting in such a large order, that was pushing back a lot of her artists' release dates.
You've got Adele and ABBA, which are obviously two big releases, probably the biggest that's been for quite some time. And yes, obviously they take precedence over the standard back catalogue stuff. And there's also a glut at the moment of, you can relate to this, but box sets and things that are just coming out, anniversary issues of albums that maybe don't really deserve an anniversary because they weren't that good albums in the first place. And I'd like to see them concentrate a bit more on classic albums. Like, Parallel Lines Blondie hasn't been available for about a year now on vinyl as a repress. And, you can't get much more classic than that.
It's amazing that
and
album.
It's still, it doesn't say it's deleted, but you just can't get copies at the moment. So, and it's, instead of that, they're bringing out like the yellow vinyl copies of albums that just weren't that good in the first place. So.
Every other day I see Motorhead are reissuing something. I'm just getting a bit like... Like on the one hand, because I like to think I'm a bit of a historian and whatnot, and in my collection is almost like an archive of, of history and stuff, is I love it when, the No Sleep Till Hammersmith thing comes out and they're like, oh, here's the box set with The Other Night on it. Record. I'm like, great, I love that. But it's when they go, oh, we're going to do this album again, and then we're going to put in a 6 CD box set, and it's going to be 150 quid. And I'm like, I can't do it. I can't do it. Every month there's something coming out that I'd love to dive into and listen to all the outtakes of and everything. But you know what I'm like. When there's a reissue out, I come sniffing around and I, what's that? You got a 2-disc version of that? I'll have that. I can't help it. Is that where predominantly you're making the money from now? Is like reissues of
it seems to be, really. I mean, there's still loads of really good new releases. I mean, I don't think the industry for new bands is any worse than it was. You just got to hunt them out, more basically nowadays. You won't maybe hear them on the radio, but we've got loads of new bands and stuff we can actually play to people if they come in the shop. But, they do. I mean, the reissues and things do well. I mean, certain things are better than others, like All Things Must Pass, George Harrison, which you would think would be massive. Yeah. It bombed. We just didn't do very well with it. And we've still got lots of copies of box sets and CD. We sold a few, but that hadn't been available for years as a thing. Whereas the Let It Be thing has gone well because there's, the extra tracks are really, really good. What else has recently come out as a reissue? The Nirvana one did well.
That's surprising because they only did a box set 10 years ago.
There's another Motorhead one, or I got to admit, we're just thinking really, and Grateful Dead. To be fair, how many more do we need? We can't fit the ones we've got on the shelves. So
never asked.
Frank Zappa. It's just mountains of. I mean, there's so much Zappa stuff available anyway, but you just. But annoyingly, they all sell a bit. So you have to stock them because we pride ourselves on, having all the new releases as well as having a great back catalogue of stuff. You don't want to be seen as, well, we're not doing that. But yes, that we might have to be, in the new year, definitely think, well, actually, no, we're not going to get that in. We've got nowhere to put it. Who's going to want it? We're going to, but we gauge what our customers want via Facebook and stuff. So we have a big pre-order list of, so people in advance, all our, people who shop with us regularly will say, well, can you put me buy a copy of that? Can I have this? And stuff like that. So, you're one of those people anyway, so you'll be on our computer for certain things that are coming out, whatever. But the more people that tell us things they want in advance, obviously that helps us gauge our orders. But obviously if people don't tell us, then we have to just rely on our, experience really, and think how many can we sell of this? So.
Yeah, I got on All Things Must Pass from you.
Yep.
Very good.
It's great. I mean, you can't get a much more classic album than that. But yes, it just didn't sell as well as we thought it would go, and we got a lot of valuable stock tied up in that. Yeah, it's surprising. Yeah.
And you mentioned the Frank Zappa one. I was in there the other day and I saw that there's a Frank Zappa reissue and they've got some sort of Halloween mask.
Yeah, again, we I think we only ordered 2. We did sell 1, but that's just it's this massive great box, and you just desperate to get rid of it. Just hope someone will come and just taking up space. on the
well,
shelves.
You know, if you really want to shift some of these super deluxe box sets, Richard, and no one's buying them.
Well, we always do deals on anything. So yes, people who will know us will, you know, they've only got to come in and try us. You know, if they're not, as long as they're not taking the,
don't take the piss.
No, exactly. But, they can. But
bring your
yes,
wallet.
we'll always do deals with people on anything that we've had for a while, definitely. So
for sure, for sure. The other thing I picked up just before we wrap up is when you said that they're putting up the price of these records.
Yeah.
And like you said, Ramones will be going up. You know, you'd have to sell it for 35 quid. Now I love the Ramones.
Yeah, so do I.
But I'm not paying. This is why I buy CD.
No.
I'm not paying.
Well, that's why we actually, you know, obviously stockpile. We actually, when we knew the prices were going up, we spent quite a lot of money and taking up a lot of space on classic albums. And so we've got, like, you know, we would normally only keep certain classic albums. We might keep one or two on vinyl in stock. Some we only keep one, and when we sell it, we get it in again, basically. But at the moment, because of the availability, we're having to sort of think ahead and think, there's a Lana Del Rey album that's come back into stock. How many do we get? You know, it's going to be out of stock almost certainly the week after. So, So with, like, the Ramones, we sort of stockpile a bit, and then they didn't go up in price. So it's like annoying. And sod's law, we haven't sold any since.
Right.
So if anybody wants any Ramones album, come and get them now before they go up.
But this has a knock-on effect. They're not, these labels, whoever are dealing with the legacies of these bands, they're not. This is not a long game. They're playing.
No.
Because if they make it so that you don't want to buy those, you're too expensive for you to justify buying in, they are killing the legacy of those bands. Whereas acts, you know, new modern acts will come out on Spotify and do gazillion streams, blah, 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 blah. Whereas acts like Ramones and Jimi Hendrix, Queen do very well. But some of these classic bands on the streamers, their statistics are actually dropping a little bit over time. And this is stopping people from finding these bands, the next generation from finding these bands and owning them and having a real, because you don't have, it's very rare with something that you're streaming to have a really, or for me, to have a really, like, sort of deep connection to the music, because it feels very kind of like, well, I can just play something else in a minute. There's no value. There's not a lot of value to it.
No.
And so when you're buying stuff and you're investing in it and you're listening to it and you're loving it, that is when you get these deep connections to these bands, and that's how they survive into the future, because you pass them down to people. And I just feel if you're putting your stock up for vinyl like that, you're just you're killing your own back catalogue for the future.
I literally don't know why. I know obviously production costs of everything goes up, and that's understandable. But the cynical side of me says there's something more sinister in it, and it's not just me saying that; it's other record shops, because we belong to the Record Retailers Association, so we obviously get to see what other independent record shops are saying on the same thing. We're all in the same boat as well, obviously. So we don't know why that would be happening, whether it's just the independent shops are going to have to pay those prices and whether Amazon still get it cheap. But that doesn't seem to follow, because we know our prices on vinyl is virtually the same. Quite often we can be cheaper than Amazon, and often we've got things in stock that Amazon haven't got with vinyl. So it does seem to be that everyone's going to be affected by it. So but we don't know. But again, because there's no one we can go to in these companies to get a definitive answer, we rely on the Record Retailers Association to get some replies. But at the moment, no one seems to really know why it's going to happen, and whether it will, who knows?
Sinister.
Watch the space,
Thanks very much, Richard.
That's all right.
And congratulations on 25 years in one of the best businesses ever, but probably one of the hardest.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll be at the party.
Fantastic. Yeah, we'll see you then.
Nice
Thank you
one.
for that. Cheers.